Greetings, fellow investigators. Welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. It has been said that nature is cold, wet, hard, and unforgiving. Well, that's actually a quote by David Remnick. But the same can be said about a good game of Call of Cthulhu. Our scenario is The Migration. It was written by Sean Little, and he is our GM. And this is episode 2. Our recap will be given by Troy Wheeltrier. So sit back and stay warm. The players are ready. Let's begin our journey into the darkness. Troy?
All right, thanks, Tom. So the last time, the investigators, who include Dr. Owen Brody, a scientist in from Toronto, Helene Bordeaux, a Métis shopkeeper and fur trader, Clayton Perry, a fur trapper, Jimmy Marsden, a local musician, Percy Daniels, a self-taught researcher and naturalist, and Henrietta Ma Mackenzie, a vagabond survivalist, were introduced. The mayor, along with the elderly scientist Dr. Frank Mossberg of the small northern Ontario town of Pardue Mills, has called together this disparate group to investigate the strange disappearance of the caribou, who are supposed to be migrating through a rift near the town. Since the town and most of the people in the region depend on caribou for survival through the winter, investigating the missing beasts is a top priority, to the point where the military has become involved. Other key players are the mining company, which operates a mine to the east of the town, and the local First Nations Cree tribe. The investigators were told by the military representative that their last flight to the north several months ago showed the caribou pack intact, and that they were unaware of anything that could be impeding the migration. Poor weather has prevented further trips. They have also lost radio contact with the observation stations along the rift. The investigators were tasked to travel up along the rift in a specially outfitted vehicle to see what happened to the herd. It was decided that the investigators would meet in the morning with Father Donahue, who has been in the town since its founding in the 1890s as a quasi-utopian city of the future, until the untimely disappearance of its founder quashed those dreams. They stopped by the local dive to relax before the journey. Ma introduced Dr. Brody to the Cree elder Herit Davis, who explained that the caribou had in fact gone missing before, just around the time of Pardue's vanishing. The investigators, with the exception of Jimmy Marsden, who decided to hang around until the booze started flowing, then went to their respective homes. Later that morning, Dr. Brody, Helene, and Ma, however, were awoken by the sound of fire bells. Rushing to the scene, they assisted the volunteer fire force in putting out a fire that had consumed the local records building. While the fire had been put out, only a few of the records were saved. Helene decided to see if there were any tracks in the snow leading away from the fire. There were. The police seemed to agree that arson was highly suspected in this case. Ma strongly convinced a police officer to follow her, Helene, and the doctor as they traced the tracks to the residential part of the town. The tracks led them to a boarding house where they awoke the landlady Edna and attempted to catch the arsonist, but he had already escaped through his window. The person staying in the room was a French-speaking supervisor of the mining operation. The investigators must now prepare to head north. That is it. And we are basically standing there at the boarding house now.
Well, as I suggested, we let the police take care of this. I guess we need to go see Father Donahue.
Well, it's 5 o'clock. It's about 5:15, 5:30 right now. Just
so we've got a ways until the mass starts, huh? Is there a place where we can get? Did we already get food? No, because we came running out for the fire.
I think everything's still closed. I mean, there might be something.
Yeah. So you do know that the pub you were at.
Workman's place.
The pub you were at does actually open at 5:30 in the morning to service any of the workmen and anybody who's traveling to the mine for their 9 o'clock in the morning shift. So,
I get into town, and I see the fire, and I'm like, what exactly happened?
Well, we come on with us. We're gonna go get some breakfast. We'll tell you all about it as we go.
Yeah, sure.
And I turned them on. I'm like, besides, bunch of those miners are going to be in there. I'm wondering if we can find out anything from,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Doc.
asking around.
I'd be cautious if I were you, Dr. Brody. I've been thinking about this since you told me what's been going on here. But does it not strike you as rather strange that you brought up the possible complicity of the mine in this matter?
I thought
during the meeting, and then hours later, people connected with the mine burned down the records office. That does seems like rather a strange coincidence.
But what are they trying to hide? That's what I want to know.
Whatever it is, I think they've probably succeeded.
Well, here, let's, as we're going in, maybe we can get a private corner or something to sit in where the miners aren't. But
it's a bit of a walk still. I'm sorry, just so you know that snow is starting to fall.
All right. If one of two things seems to have happened. Either they burned down the record office because they couldn't find the records they were looking for, which would show something incriminating, or they found what they were looking for and they burned the place down just to cover up.
Yeah.
But in either case, there was something there. And if they were doing something illegal or wrong, then they would have covered it up before they ever made it into an actual record. But in this case, it's got to be something that was recorded that they don't want anyone to find out about.
Well, here's the thing, though, Dr. Brody. Why burn down the whole damn building when they could have just taken the files or whatever they needed?
Well, that's why I'm guessing that maybe they couldn't find what they were looking for, and they just hoped that it got burned in the fire. Like, for instance, maybe seismic. The fact that they're drilling a mine. What sort of seismic reports do we have on the area? If what they were doing caused seismic tremors and it spooked the caribou, and the caribou all went in some other direction.
Oh, I hadn't considered that.
just the one. Maybe, but the thing is, if they've done this before, and
how long has the mine been there?
That's exactly the question.
Mm-hmm. The mine.
See, now the records are gone.
But we do know basically that the mine, it's not a recent construction, and there have been successful migrations when the mine was present.
And the town did not start as a mine. It started as Pardue Mills, but according to sorry, I should probably do it in character, but when Pardue was here, that migration didn't go through according to the chief.
The year that
that was the year he disappeared, which I think was also, I think that was the same time that the mining company set up shop.
I'm just thinking. I'm speculating on what kind of records that the mining company or members of the mining company wanted to get rid of. And all I can think of would be surveying maps or seismic maps or something that they didn't want anybody to find out the danger of.
Well, I was wondering about runoff as well.
This is maybe it has nothing to do with the mine. Maybe it has to do with maybe what the other parts of town was doing with the.
But we know the mining people were involved, so.
Far be it from me to lecture the good doctor on the nature of philosophy, but there's a concept of Occam's razor, and I think it's a simpler explanation that, arson as a kind of general sign, there might be, maybe the miners are just, I don't know, radicals or maybe they just wanted to send a message and burn down some important building. That's a possibility.
Well, do we know of any radical groups
never mind
in
is
the area? Or
I'm not contradicting any. I'm not trying to.
Right, we're pretty far north.
Well, these folks must be some pretty crazy ass radicals if they want to burn down the entire damn city and kill themselves in the process.
My guess is that they didn't find what they were looking for.
Again, it could be they could be opposed to us investigating and wanted to send us a message, essentially, sort of, and burning down a government, not a government, an important building like that sends a powerful message.
Well, not to us, because we're still going to investigate.
Well, who has been in the town the longest? I'll have to jump in quickly, guys. Which one of you has been here the longest?
I've only been here 3 weeks.
I've been 2 years.
Jimmy's lived here his whole life.
I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy, could you make an idea roll?
Jimmy's also only 20, so like.
I know, that's true.
His whole long life. Jimmy, you still have 0 sanity.
It's early in the morning.
He's young and crazy.
Too much jazz.
That's right. That's right. Jazz will destroy your mind.
The devil's music.
A few hours sleep here. Idea roll? No, actually, I failed by 9 points.
All right. Well, let's just say you went to school here. You've been in the records room, the records hall, the hall of records. It was really like a 2-room office building that was slightly separate from the library and separate from the library, separate from the city hall. Just something about it, and you're not. Something's bothering you about it. Oh, can you hear me now?
We heard you say that the hall was attached to the school or the library.
Okay, it's attached by a breezeway, not an actual part of the library. But you just something is bothering you, Jimmy, and it's a close fail, but just something is irking you, something that you just can't remember. That's all I can really throw at you.
Well, I'm going to need a strong cup of coffee to wake me up since I didn't get all my sleep. So,
yeah, me too.
So I guess we head into the Brass Monkey and
This is a small town, so what kind of records would they even keep? Just like birth and death certificates, tax records?
The usual stuff for for building records. And of course, since there's got to be there's a mine, there's got to be some surveying records and all that.
Well, I believe there's an official inspectorate of mines as well, so certain details of the mine would have to be filed. But I mean, perhaps it's not an organized conspiracy. If it was just something to do with bad design, and that every now and then the waste materials from the mine were dumping into a local river,
right,
poisoning the caribou.
And they don't
if that was the case,
dropping the numbers.
Sorry to interrupt, but if that was the case, some kind of natural pollution or something, it wouldn't be this kind of sudden impact on the ecosystem.
No.
Unless it was an industrial accident that they want to cover up.
I still... Sorry, Dr. Owen. I really don't think the mine... Yeah, I heard that they found a guy that did work for the mine. But I really do not think that the mine is actually involved in...
Well, you might be right. As it is, I don't think that it's any of our business anymore. I think that the police need to take over that whole...
Yeah.
I think the thing at the moment, is just to get out of the cold and get something warm in us. I could do with some breakfast.
Yeah, Ma's kind of walked ahead. She's bored by this conversation, so she's already in the Brass Monkey drinking coffee.
She has her log. She's at the restaurant.
Yep. We're getting a damn fine cup of coffee.
Well, let's just assume you've all made your way through the The snow, it's blowing, the big flakes, that kind of gets in your eyes, gets in your headlights if you drive a car. You get to the restaurant, you're chilly, you're damp. You get inside, there's some miners in there. And there's also some police officers, firefighters, the usual people, the volunteer firefighters, rather. Everybody's just sort of chatting away about the fire. What the heck happened? The usual conversation. But there just happens to be a table for you in the back.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Waitress will come up, says, wow, wasn't that a thing? What happens? My gosh.
I'm glad that we could help what we could.
It was pretty amazing that it didn't spread any further. The whole town's made of wood, as we know.
Yeah.
Yes, it could have been disastrous.
Indeed.
Coffee all around?
Please.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Do you have any Canadian
give me some eggs too, sweetheart?
You're not going to ask for Canadian bacon.
No, I'm not going to.
Bacon, please.
I'll just have I don't know, whatever we normally eat. Flapjacks and
bacon and eggs, flapjacks,
bacon
the usual French toast.
French toast, yeah.
I'll have the fragrant eggs and bee, please.
You've got it.
The hell is that?
Yeah, what is that, by the way?
I don't know.
Bacon and eggs.
Okay. Mock kind of leans in and says, "Hey, do any of you speak French here?"
I do, to an extent.
I do. I actually speak it quite fluently.
There you go.
Okay. Hey, maybe we should keep an ear out for these mining folks. Is the mining company, is it run by a French or a Quebecois, whatever, company?
The owner of the company is American, believe it or not.
Okay.
A lot of the workers, you do know, have come sideways from Quebec. And not very many from Toronto, but a lot, and some have come out over from the west as well.
Okay.
Western.
So I was gonna be like, is anyone speaking French around here? You guys can hear?
Yeah. Well, I'll keep my ears
like,
open.
Do a listen. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't speak French, so I don't know if.
Well, you can recognize French, though.
Okay.
For the sake of convenience, can I just give myself like Fidi in French and Cree?
Well, Dr. Brody speaks French.
Sure, yeah.
I speak a little French.
Yeah.
I just we brought this up last session. I just want to know like the exact numbers to put in my secondary languages.
Well, your name is Bordeaux. You probably have some French.
Yeah. Again, the background I have of this character is actually grew up kind of speaking basically this kind of Creole mix of like this languages with at the same time kind of English, French, and Cree. But obviously English kind of takes precedence because it's Canada and stuff. So,
language.
but so I'm thinking like I don't know, like 30, just having a base of 30 in both of those.
Sounds reasonable. Go ahead.
Sorry to detract.
If you grew up with the language, it should be equal to your education.
Right.
But
I think having 3 languages at full education would be a bit off. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's good.
A little bit less, yeah. I would say just less than your education.
I don't want to haggle numbers, but like, yeah.
But anyway, so you know, Ma's just kind of paranoid about, you know.
I can hear people speaking French, but I can't make distinctions out of what they're saying.
There's a few. I mean, just whoever got a pass. You got a pass there.
What were you testing?
I wanted to listen and hear if there were people speaking like exclusively French. So because Ma's at this point is real paranoid that it's just like it's a conspiracy from the mining company and it's some sort of like Quebec, you know, insurrection or something, you know, that's kind of like what's running through her head right now.
It's not
it's like a secession.
Well, now I don't think we should get ahead of ourselves, really. I mean, we're sitting here and we're discussing whether or not the mine's involved, but we haven't even actually been up north to try and see what's happened.
No,
right,
it's and I
think we should mount an expedition to before we'd start coming to any conclusions.
I say in French, everyone likes a good mystery. Which sounds really sexy when you say it in French.
Oh boy.
Everyone likes a good mystery.
Well, to put things into perspective, as you think about it, just remember that you followed 4 sets of footprints. You split off and focused on one. By chance, you went to the one where a fellow, you could track him right to his building. He went up. There are other people in the building who were staying there as well who looked out, and they were miners as well, and they seemed freaked out. They genuinely seemed put off by, look, what the heck? There's a cop here. There's people busting in. There's some guy ran up and his shoes are here. And now there's like people out the window. And so they were, some of them, I would say you probably at least 1 or 2 of them probably were speaking in French, asking questions of each other. So just to put it into perspective.
So
right.
yeah,
Okay.
it's more likely. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say that by now the police have probably questioned some of them, and they realize that whoever's involved, my guess, they were probably new people, and they had an agenda, and they did what they did, and now they're missing because they're obviously, otherwise they'd be arrested.
There hasn't been a mass roundup
to wherever they came from. Right.
Hey, Sean, would I know, how does the town see the mine? Is it part of the community and it employs a lot of people and it's generally accepted, or is there a friction? Or
Think of a Walmart that opens up in a small town. At first, the small business sellers are like, what the heck, it's going to take all of our business. And then they realize actually people are getting jobs there, things are cheaper to buy. So they've been there a few years now, I think more than a few years. There's a reluctant acceptance. The only issue in town really is a lot of the miners come and go. So they complain a bit that the miners come, work for a year, and then they leave. And sometimes they leave girls with babies. Mm-hmm. So like there's always that little bit of concern about the miners, and there's a slight separation, but there's some that have been there for quite a few years who are quite upstanding members of the community.
Okay, great.
So I think what it seems like, at least given what we've been able to deduce, is that there's probably a handful of isolationist who happen to be miners rather than some kind of conspiracy amongst miners to keep us out. I feel that investigating the mine is a long road that isn't necessarily where we need to go.
Yeah.
Right. It's hardly our business, but
yeah.
now,
So I think our first point of call should be to, as soon as possible, to go and pick up that contraption from the army base and drive very slowly north.
That's right. We still have to do that shit.
That's at 9 o'clock.
Should we ask a priest about his opinion on things before we head out?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him, so don't Roman Catholics have to do their services first before they eat, right? So that's why he's not here.
He did seem rather aggrieved.
Well, what time is it now?
It's now about 5:45. Food has arrived.
All right.
You can eat your food. You can fast forward to whatever else you want to do in the restaurant. Go right ahead.
Lovely. Bacon, eggs, sausage, beans, fried bread, 2 slices.
What I'm having tomorrow.
I'm gonna go start up a conversation with one of the miners, the French-speaking miners.
All right. Well, there's a number of tables that you recognize as miners. There are some that are definitely laborers, and there are some that supervisor types. They don't look like their clothing has been as worn. Right. Everybody's clean. I mean, no one goes in this restaurant dirty. That's a rule.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, bonjour. I should polish up on my French if I'm going to speak French. Je suis
You don't have to fully roll.
Just me on Brody, please. It's my only chance.
Où est le plume de maton?
Je ne sais quoi, je ne sais quoi, je ne sais quoi.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça, que ça, que c'est, que ça, que c'est, que ça?
So, anyways,
Will I sell the band?
I just say, you know, how are you doing? My friends and I have been, asked to investigate. Well, you probably have seen me around town for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm a scientist from Toronto. I'm studying the caribou. And we're hopefully going to go out and find our lost caribou and find out where the hell they've gone. You people, I'm sure, are just as concerned as we are, since it's a food source.
Yeah. Which group did you go to, by the way? Did you go to laborers or
the more dressed up people,
supervisory type staff?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they break into English right away. They can tell that you speak French, not as well as they could probably speak English, I would say, but they're used to this in the town. So they jump in and they say, "Oh, it's terrible. Everything's going so fast. The fire," and they said, "And yeah, the food. Absolutely, we have supplies, but definitely we only plan for part. We plan to supplement that." And they're flummoxed as well. They say that they haven't seen. The mine is close enough that when fellas are off duty, they go for walks, and they actually know they can hear the caribou coming when the migration occurs. Nothing. They're quite surprised by all this, and they're a little worried about the weather too.
Well, we're hoping very much that that some of the locals are going to organize a hunt and do what they can to hunt other livestock that's prevalent, but there's not that much. We're just trying to survive at this point. Hopefully, in the next few days, we'll know what's going on. It's probably just somewhere up there. There was a landslide, and they've all gone in a different direction, and they're 3 miles to that direction, and we'll find them. And
yeah, well, you should stop by the mine. Definitely talk to Bear. He has a lot of information. He's been around for a few years.
Oh yeah, Bear is he
Bear Thompson? He's the head supervisor.
Thompson,
yeah,
is he a Cree?
No.
So Bear's just a nickname?
Yeah, it's
he's a big guy.
Think of it kind of like a nickname, yeah.
He was at the meeting. You remember he spoke for a few seconds.
Yes, I do remember him. Yes.
Heavyset guy, gruff, but knowledgeable.
All right. Well, we might do that. We'll see. We're going to travel along the rift for a while and see what we can find out.
Oh, excellent. Watch out for the wolves.
Yeah. Oh, I hope. Yeah. Jeez, wolves. Anyways, nice to meet you. And I go back to the other ones. I'm like, they did it. I know they did it. They just must have done it. No, they seem like really nice people, but
they're too friendly.
I mean, no disrespect, but you upper class, professional type people have that tendency.
Well, it makes lying so much easier.
It is that.
Bear Thompson. Okay. Oh yeah, Bob Bear Thompson. They suggested we talk to Bob Bear Thompson. He might have information as well. I'm not sure how far that is off of our. Well, let's see. Well, that's quite a ways.
Yeah, I mean it's a little out of the ways. I mean, theoretically,
we may have to go there to ask questions, but
we could stop there first. But I don't know if we should just get started right away.
Are we heading to Camp B? Is that where we're heading?
Yeah, I think that was our sort of first priority.
It's just an unmanned lookout spot.
Mm-hmm.
So the north, yes, that's just
right.
Yeah.
We're expecting them to.
Right. All right. I would think with the topography that it would be natural that they would be funneled into that rift. So it is odd that if they would have gone elsewhere, unless there's some sort of blockage.
Yeah. So Ma kind of shovels down her food, and she's like, "Well, Dr. Brody, your balloon and stuff won't be ready for a while. Should we head on over to the parish and see if Father's in?
Let's go talk to the priest.
Right.
Okay.
I have a quick question for the GM. Sorry.
You betcha.
I hate to, I don't mean to be like making stuff out of the blue for my character, but the idea I had was that my mother was French, so I kind of had this kind of Catholic upbringing, but I didn't really practice faith that much, but like I had that background. So would that be a skill I added? Something like knowledge of Catholicism, I guess? I don't know.
Knowledge of religion is a cult.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, because when we talk with this priest, I want to like I acknowledge some basic Catholic practices, I guess. So like, I don't know.
If you grew up and your mother was Catholic, you've probably been to church. You will recognize some of the procedures, some of the things that happen.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's not
my
foreign
character's
to you.
not Catholic, and he knows a little bit about what the Catholic.
Likewise.
Yeah.
So
okay, that's easy. That's an easy call.
Cool.
So it's just across the street, isn't it?
It is.
All right.
Okay.
Back out
So
into the cold.
Heading out.
We're going to go and see this druid then, are we?
It's not green enough here for the druids, my friend. Well, there's probably a lot of mistletoe.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I guess everybody's done their food. There's nothing. Oh, Corey. Nobody's nothing else anyone wants to do in the restaurant here. You can head over to the parish hall, not the parish hall, the church itself. Okay. And you see the lights are off, and there is a piece of paper taped. Sorry, would really be taped. Was there tape back then? I don't know.
I guess I don't know.
I would say there's a sign out that has the time.
Martin Luther attacked.
There's a notice in the glass cabinet, whatever would be outside the door to tell people times of masses and such, that says Father Donahue's under the weather, and there's no mass this morning. But so there you go. He doesn't live very far away.
Should we go? Is the rectory attached to the church where he lives?
I'm assuming that the note that Dr. Brody left has been removed.
Well, I put it under his door, so
okay, so we don't have any way of checking that.
Yep.
And I didn't put it under the door of the church. I put it under the door of wherever he lives. So I assume there's a rectory next door.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's obviously
head on over. We don't have anything else to do until 9, right? That's when your
let's go knock on his door and see if we can talk to him.
Sure. All right. Well, you see the light. The light is actually on in the kitchen area. Like it's still this time of day. It's still dark.
Right.
So you can see that the light is on in the kitchen area, or what you think is the kitchen area. You knock at the door, and you hear some shuffling, you hear some movement, and the father comes to the door. He's not in priest.
No, he's
paraphernalia. He's
in a robe.
In a robe, regular everyday clothing. He looks pretty rough, just like he's got a cold or something like that. He says, "Oh, you're here. Good. Come in, please. Not take your boots off, please, and head into my sitting room."
Okay.
And he directs you there. Corey goes for a walk somewhere else, apparently. Corey's wandering off. He got lost.
He's possessed and he can't stand the priest.
He just hates this. He found an excuse to go do something else. So you get to go into the sitting room. He comes in. He says, "I'm sorry, everyone. I can't bring you tea. I really feel rough. This has been coming on for a few days now, and really, honestly, there just aren't enough people showing up. I'm not gonna hold mass every single day. When I'll just have my own mass here when I have to."
That's understandable.
So, So what can I help you with?
Well, you seemed rather concerned yesterday at the meeting, and we're just about getting ready to go out looking for our lost caribou. Is there anything you can tell us about?
He looks over at Elaine.
Apparently this has happened before.
Yes. He looks at Elaine and he says, "Could you please, dear? Could you please go shut the curtains? Make sure that."
I nod and I
no one outside.
close the window. I like draw the blinds and whatnot.
Yeah. He just wants to make sure that nobody is looking in, listening, and he speaks in a little more hushed tones. Yes, it's happened before. Yes, this is not new to us, and yes, this is something that not everyone wants to talk about who's been here for a long time. You wouldn't remember, points to Jimmy. You're not old enough, Jimmy, because he does know who you are. He says that, of course, Mr. Pardue, he traveled to this part of Ontario with Mr. Pardue at his request to help set up this town. And Mr. Pardue had a great vision for a city of the future, and his job here was to help motivate the people in a spiritual way to assist with the vision. Things were going smoothly, but then let's just say the difficulties came. The difficulties were Mr. Pardue could not get the wood out of the town to the markets in an efficient way throughout the year. So he was using up all of his own funds, and it was wearing on him. And to top things off, it hit that fateful year, and just like this year, and I hate to say it because it sounds like something made up by some of the Cree, but the sky changed at night. The lights in the sky, the aurora, if you will, the northern lights, they were more brilliant than ever seen before. Colors we generally don't see here, that we've heard up north they see. And to the north of us, it was brilliant. And along with that, the caribou stopped coming. At that time, the female caribou came through, most of them, but the males never did. And Mr. Pardue with a team of men went looking to try to find out what happened, and they never came back. And that was the end of his vision.
So a rescue party was never organized to go find them, or they just...
Oh, there was. Found? Oh, there was. We sent dog sled teams, men on foot, snowshoes, anybody available, but the storms hit us, and they could only get so far, and in the end, they came back empty-handed. Didn't find a stitch of clothing, didn't find a ski.
Father, could you jog my memory? I've not lived here that long. But 1900, was that the same year that the mine set up for the first time?
The mine is an interesting thing in that to help offset the loss of money that Mr. Pardue is suffering from, he made a deal with the mine, and they sold off the parcel of land that they currently sit on. They knew exactly what parcel of land they wanted. They had somehow looked at government data or something. They knew they wanted to set up there for a silver mine. So he set up the paperwork, and to offset the costs at that time, he made arrangements for them to own the land, but also pay a percentage of their silver sales back to the town.
Let's see.
Now, when you say, oh, sorry, can I go?
No, I was just gonna say, and is the town still getting a percentage of that?
I believe so.
Does that agreement still stand?
I do believe so, because the town has money and there's no other industry other than the small amount of wood that we sell during the better months.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Aline. Yeah.
Now, when you say, you mentioned that he made deals with them, he sold them the land. Who is them? Is there a particular mining corporation that we can investigate? Is this an independent group of miners, or is this some local company?
It's an American owner. He is not here, of course. I mean, he's a foreign owner of land. He owns the mine. He owns a number of corporations. Thomas Ward is his name. He's very wealthy, very well known in the Eastern Seaboard, particularly Massachusetts, where he lives. You certainly could, if you had time, contact him, but you'd have a long way to travel in the winter.
That's quite all right. I just wanted to get some more information. So, do we have an exact year of the mines being set up?
They were already there in 1900.
Mm-hmm.
They were already initiating boreholes, like digging test pits and looking for the silver with his permission.
Okay.
So it just
Which
went
is
from
why
there.
that's why they knew that piece of land was the one they wanted, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
If it's owned by Thomas Ward, why is it named McGilvery Mine? Any idea?
Ah, yes. There was a man named well, he actually had a small silver mine at the time there, and it was very small, but he became very wealthy in a very short period of time and left the area. They just kept the name.
I see.
For familiarity.
Another question.
Also, Mr. Ward. Oh, sorry. Mr. Ward was also at the time. He was having some, shall we say, there were some issues with his inappropriateness in certain social circles in the Eastern Seaboard in the United States.
Let's see. Question about the caribou again. You say that in 1900 the females showed up, but the males didn't. How long did it take the caribou? That must have been devastating. How long did it take the caribou to come back to normal, at least in numbers?
A good 5 years. There was enough to eat, enough for the local people. The population was much smaller at the time, and the Cree, they did have another source of food, in that there was. We'd have to talk to them, really. I mean, they know more than I do, but they did survive. We did survive, but if it were nowadays with the population what it is now, it wouldn't have been a very good winter for anyone.
Did they ever find any explanation for why back then?
They did find a good portion of the males, the bucks. They did find them, a good portion of them, a couple of months later passing through. So they overwintered somewhere. A lot of their numbers were dropped off, and they did come through later on.
Huh. So they were stuck somewhere. That's interesting.
That's what we think. We're not entirely sure.
May I ask, Father, to the best of your knowledge, have there ever been any, or are there any ongoing disputes between the mine and the town?
Well, I wouldn't say disputes. I'd say, depending on who you talk to at City Hall, they love him or they hate him. The mayor loves him.
Did you hear about the fire this morning?
I heard there was a fire at the museum.
The Hall of Records.
Oh, that's what we call. Yes, it's called that now. Yes. That back when Mr. Pardue was here, that building was constructed for the sole purpose of. It's a little bit of egotistical, in my opinion, but he and his family, who have since left us, their intention was that would be a museum dedicated to his honor, and that's why it was constructed. Yes,
to Pardue. It would be a Pardue museum.
It was to be the Pardue Museum, but when he disappeared, the project ceased.
Where does stuff go to?
Well, I don't know. I've got some of his personal belongings because he and I were very good friends, but perhaps his family took some of those things with them when they headed back to Toronto.
Do you know what's at the root of this enmity between the deputy mayor and the mine?
The deputy mayor used to work at the mine. He grew up here. He worked at the mine. He's actually a trained engineer, and he was under the assumption when he came back from university that when he'd work at the mine, he would be able to secure a career. And the more he tried to get involved with things, the more he had there's animosity between he and some of the senior staff there and some of the ownership. So he got into politics. He doesn't really talk about it.
And when did he come back from the university?
Oh gosh, not too long after the mines started setting up operations. He was there a good 5 years, I think. He's owner of the Brass Monkey. Jimmy knows that.
Really? The
I
deputy
really should
mayor
come into
wants
town
the
more.
gas monkey.
Father, if I recall at the meeting, you seemed a bit upset and almost something to the effect of, we know the real story, what's happening. You care to elaborate?
I'd just say the mayor doesn't like to have the mine in a bad light. This is why I suspect he may get his pockets lined by them a little bit.
Most natural explanation.
And yeah, and if there are some, and there are some in the town who may or already do suspect that the mine may have something to do with the caribou disappearing, perhaps the river water not being the best at times. If they suspect those things, they will point fingers at the mine because there's no one else to point to that. There's no one else upstream. We're not down. We're down.
I was just going to ask the GM a question. Which way is the water flowing?
Yeah, sorry. Water flows north to James Bay.
So it's going upwards.
Yeah.
Up on the map. Yeah. Okay. But the mine is way over here, so with the rift in between that and the river, there really shouldn't be any connection between the two, is there? You know?
I'm not the geologist, I'm not the geographer, and I know you're probably right. But the people, they need to point a finger at somebody.
The rift being, well, you might not know this, but the rift being the way that it is there a creek or a river that runs down the middle of it?
During the spring, yes.
In the spring.
Well, I don't have to do that in the accent. Yeah, during the spring, yeah. The rift is actually, if you want to think of it this way, you can't see my hands. The river is slightly lower than the town, but the town is on the edge adjacent to the river. Rocky, the ground slopes upwards, and then there's the rift, and then it goes up the other side of the rift and slopes upwards a little more. So the rift is, elevation-wise, it's above the town, but you're going to get runoff from the snows and such in that during the spring.
I see. Okay.
It's hydraulically connected to the river, if you really want to know.
Okay. Via the water table, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Artesian springs and stuff like that. Well, I can't think of anything else. Is there anything, Father, that you would like to tell us or advice you need to give us before we leave? Is there a prayer for us?
Oh, I pray for you as soon as you leave, I promise. But I would say the thing you should be most careful of is the smiling men. You can't trust a businessman that smiles at you from the moment you see them to the moment you leave. And that could be anyone you deal with in the next little while, because as you're asking questions, there are some whose the answers they give you are not going to be entirely truthful.
Well, that's also kind of understandable, considering the mayor is probably getting his pockets lined, and the deputy mayor is running a well, let's say it was an interesting place that I heard as I was leaving. some noises.
Well, if you all don't mind, I'm feeling tired. I've really got to get over this for tomorrow. If there's anything else you need, please ask, because I think I need to get some sleep.
Tea with honey and lemon should help you.
Oh, I'll be all over that. Thank you.
I'd say Irish whiskey.
Put a nip in it too.
Grandpa's cough medicine in there. That'll clear
My grandfather used to call it a hot toddy, but.
All right. Thank you very much, Father.
Thanks, Father.
Thank you, gentlemen. See you later, and ladies.
Thank you.
Well, Percy, are you going to drive us up to the airfield?
Yes. Can we all fit in the car?
Well,
With the luggage.
6 of you.
Otherwise, we could go up to the airfield and go and collect the.
Well, that's what we were going to do, and then drive back in the Bombardier School bus, snow bus. Bombardier. So if you guys want, we can meet you in front of the Brass Monkey.
Yes, I think
that works for me.
That's the best idea. I'll I think young Mr. Marsden is also something of a driver, I believe.
I can get you there pretty quick.
Well, let's take it easy, shall we? I mean, we don't want to go crazy on these roads. Is that up at the government offices by the airfield that we're going to?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It is. All right. Okay. Well, be careful. You know what that airport road's like.
So, I lean to Mackenzie and I'm like, we'll probably be back in 2 hours with his driving.
God, maybe you should attach a weight to that guy's boot. Push down on that old. What do you call them things? Accelerators? Something like that.
I don't know. I could go for Jimmy driving, but
I'll see if I can convince him.
I think Percy's going to have a heart attack if that happens.
I'm not that restrained. I once drove at 40 miles an hour.
An obscenely speed.
Something tells me
I
Jimmy.
thought the car was going to take off.
You'll be pleased to know the Snowcat has a top speed of 20 miles an hour.
Oh God!
Oh, don't tell him that.
See, that's
blow our hats right off our heads.
That's a proper design there. I mean,
comfort, designed for comfort and safety.
You need to limit the speed they can go.
Oh boy!
Well, let's get it going.
The speed on modern automobiles.
So Jimmy, Percy, and Dr. Brody are all going to head up to the airfield, or Jimmy, are you going to stay here in town with the rest of us?
Well, I think as Mr. Marsden is going to be the other one who's going to be driving.
He's young and strong.
Then I think he should be there when we're given a rundown on how this contraption operates.
And we might need him to help us lift some stuff and hoist some stuff.
Oh, now wait a minute.
Come on, you need the exercise.
Okay, wherever you guys need me, I'll go.
All right.
Got to burn off that booze, right, Jimmy? And she kind of nudges him.
There's no booze in this town. Are you crazy?
It's a dry town.
Wink.
All right. So we're going to go.
All right. Well, it's easy enough to get there. I'm just sorry, I'm bringing up the map on my non-screen in my hands. It's not perfect. It's not great. I mean, there was some snow last night, but it's been traveled back and forth by the military trucks who come into town for various reasons throughout the night. And you get to the airbase. There's a single guard post, a single arm to go down. Like, there's nothing really elaborate. Mm-hmm. There's one person. There's a very small military base. They let you in. You can see they're frantically trying to, because there's a break in the weather a little bit, they're trying to shovel off and plow off the airstrip as best as possible, just in case they can get a flight in.
Right.
You assume. You're waved in. You're sent to the hangar, and at the hangar, the half dome shaped building, half cylinder building. You go to it, and the Snowcat is there waiting for you, and the engine is running.
It
looks like
my package.
Yeah. Your package. There's a trailer. They got a trailer for you. Your package is on the back, and
I make sure
it's all set to go. Oh yeah, you can spend your package. Who's going to be the driver of this thing? You hear the voice of the Captain Holmes. Who's driving this beast?
I'll raise my hand.
Mr. Marsden.
Oh, Jimmy. Well, come over here and let's see. What is your? Well, you don't have to tell me your driving ability, but let's just say you know how to drive, and he opens up the door and shows you it's set up like a regular everyday vehicle. Steering wheel, clutch, gear shift, the usual. It's like a regular everyday modern vehicle, not some of the things you probably had to drive that are 10 years old. So he says, well, why don't you hop in and sort of drive it around a bit. So he gets on the other side, explains that it's tracked vehicle. So it's got the grip that you need. It's got skis in the front. Does not recommend you take it on non-snowed ground for extended periods. And luckily, the last few days you've had enough snow that there's a nice pack of snow that shouldn't be an issue. So, what's your driving? Can you do a driving roll just as he starts, just to see how well you master it?
For the record, Jimmy thinks he drives very well.
Oh, excellent! I know lots of people like that.
I rolled a 50, so I failed.
All right. Well, you're a big open airstrip. It's not like you're gonna drive into a building. Let's just say you pop the clutch. Yeah, you put it in reverse. You pop the clutch. You kind of bunny hop it, and it stalls. And he says, "Okay, let's try again." So, give it one more roll, and unless it's disastrous.
A little bit worse this time, 65.
We all crash and die.
Oh,
hey, well, I'm underneath the bus now.
You come very close.
I rolled it.
You come very close to backing into the package. And he gives you a little more pointers, gives you some more information. You listen intently, and let's just say, make one more roll. You have to make a success.
Yeah, I'm getting nervous now. Everybody's watching.
Just don't hit it.
Hey, there we go at 25.
All right, 25. You get the knack. You understand now what you're doing wrong. You get the knack for it. It's a little difficult because the tracks being turning and all how it moves. So yeah, you got the knack for it now. So I mean, just you can mark down on your sheet if you want that snowcat. Okay. Just you have the same skill as your driving skill -5. So
okay.
All right, so you guys see him having his difficulties and eventually getting the handle of it. And the military provide you with your trailer. They provide you with some fuel, and they tell you, okay, what's the route you plan on following?
We're going to go back into town, pick up our friends, and then cross Purdue Bridge and take the mining road B to the Rift.
All right.
Well, we're going to cross the Rift, correct? And then the road goes along the other edge.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just be aware that we have some fuel caches around. There's a fuel cache at each of your observation stations, A, B, C, and D.
Excellent. Okay.
And we have an agreement with the mine that if you do need fuel at the mine, they also allow us, and they charge us back for the cost of the fuel.
What's the mileage? How do we?
Depends on the snowpack, how thick it is. If you're riding on what we have right now, you're pretty good. You could make it half a day. Say. I don't really know. Let's just assume you've got fuel with you, and there's fuel caches along the way.
All right.
Now, does anybody have he asks you, does anybody have any repair or like mechanical skills related to engines?
I might. Just
Nothing.
give me a second here.
Nothing. Did you notice what Jimmy texted you?
Hold on. Texted me?
Psychically. He psychically texted me.
Where did he text it to? Oh.
And the main chat.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
Between you and me, Dr. Brody, I think he's going to strip the clutch on that by the time we bring it back.
Well, let's just say that you're watching intently. Okay.
I bet you.
All
I
right,
bet you, Mom McKenzie knows how to drive the damn thing.
I bet she could learn. Get out and push.
I just have base. She hasn't driven a car before, but
If you all work
Those people
together,
wanna
your bases
drive.
add together, and you're amazing drivers.
yeah, that's true. Teamwork. Drive
One person.
Okay, you take the clutch. I'll take the wheel. You take the.
We find the damn. If we find the damn reindeer, we can just strap them onto the front of the thing. And have to pull us.
So I learned to drive by driving a tractor. You know, now there's a vehicle that goes at a reasonable speed.
All right. Well, let's. I guess the assumption being, you don't have to do a driving skill test every 15 minutes. Let's just assume that. Obviously, if you have base, you know how to turn on a car, engine, and drive. It's just when it gets difficult, whether it's a good idea to have Jimmy behind the wheel or Percy.
Well, it's also one of those things that actually does improve as you go along. So,
yeah, that's
once
true.
you get used to it.
I've never driven a snow bus before, so.
You say these things, and the captain just keeps looking and says, and like Q in the James Bond movie, says, just bring it back in one piece.
How much room is there inside it? Is there room for a couple of people to sleep in it, or would that not be? Would that cause problems with the condensation?
Yeah, you could sleep in it. The seats aren't removable, so to speak, but it is bench seating, so you could certainly have a few people.
It'd be like sleeping on a bus, I guess. Not too
There you
comfortable,
go.
but like we could.
That's exactly what it looks like. There you go. 2, 4, 6 seats, people in the front, 8. You can sit. You have room.
There's probably room to curl up in the back and sleep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Getting comfy with each other.
Yep.
Oh boy.
What a wonderfully futuristic-looking contraption, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wish they had them now.
That's pretty cool.
All right, so your track. There is a trailer hitch that has been constructed by the military in the back of this because generally didn't have it. Your package has been attached and as well as a few fuel canisters. He suggests. He says, "Look, my grandfather used to always tell me it's easier to keep the top half of the tank full than the bottom half. So, if you're near a cache, top up."
That's true. That is a good way to go.
All right.
All right, let's head back to town and pick everybody else up.
All right. I won't make you roll, Jimmy.
All right.
Thank you.
If you guys need anything, I'll be sitting in the back with my eyes closed.
Everybody's going to need some napping time.
I'm going to be a Catholic and pray. Jimmy, if you have any trouble at all, have Percy help you.
We'll be fine.
All right. This is no time for just, I know you're excited, but we don't want to die. We don't want to die going back to town.
I'm going to sit behind Jimmy and offer him helpful snippets of advice.
Leading over him. Turn that. Signal.
Mind the horse.
Slow down.
It's 3 miles away. Yeah, watch out for that horse. That's not the place where we turn. That's not the place where we turn.
Mirror signal maneuver. Remember.
Well, let's assume you get back to
All right.
So you're back to town.
So it's probably taken an hour and a half.
It's a little bit of it's a new vehicle. You're not going super fast. The drawing is not 100% to scale the map you have. Let's say an hour back.
Okay.
And there is a fuel cache of the militaries in the town, so you can certainly top up before you leave. It didn't use very much fuel, but What's everyone doing?
All right, so we pull up, and you guys see us pull up. Everybody got your stuff?
Yep, got all my gear ready to go.
Oh, my stuff's already in there because I would have shifted it over from the car.
GM, would it be okay if I roll my Arctic survival roll just to make sure that as far as I'm aware, we'll be well provisioned for our trip, and we didn't really forget anything. Would that be an acceptable use of that role? Or
Yeah. I've survived it too. Could I also make that?
Absolutely, both of you. Go ahead.
01, we are well stocked and well provisioned. We've got everything we need. We've got
Pass with an 11, so we're not gonna die of exposure at least.
Okay. This back here, this is my baby. You can stack stuff on top of it, but nothing sharp. All right, if it's damaged, we're fucked. I mean, screwed.
Really?
Good grief! What are you, a sailor or something?
God, Doctor, you got a worse mouth than I do.
Sorry, I'm from Toronto.
City folk.
They don't even talk like that out in the Yukon. You're a
Young people.
You're a filthy man. Hey, I have a good question. On the map, there's Abitibi conglomerate. What is that? From the legend?
Which number is that? Sorry. My map
13.
is
13.
It says 13. Abitibi conglomerate and others. This is on the actual blueprint of the town.
Yeah.
I was just curious what that was.
Yes, I'm sorry. You're looking at the wrong. I was looking at the wrong map. Abitibi Conglomerate is the offices of a company that sells in the summertime goods to people passing through who are doing fur trapping and such. So it's kind of like, well, you're Americans, like Hudson's Bay Company is here. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's similar to Hudson's Bay. Instead of selling clothing and buying furs and selling, this is they're the company that sells equipment.
Okay.
Like canoes. You want a canoe, you go to Abitibi.
So it's actually it's a compound.
Yeah, it's like a co-op. It's like a co-op that sells goods to people who are traveling, who are passing through, who are going off up north, that kind of thing.
Okay. I was just curious. I don't know what that was. All right. Cool. All right. So I think we're all stocked up and ready to go. Shall we get this show on the road, boys and lady?
All right.
Quick question.
Now,
quick question. Are we going to visit the mine or are we just heading out? I'm not suggesting we do it. I'm just curious.
Now, sorry. Oh yeah.
Let's see how the tank looks when we get to the opposite side of the rift, and then maybe we'll go fill up with gas again.
I agree.
Now, another thing, the creep person, what was his name? Huron Davis. He mentioned that some of the elders at the tribe knew my parents, and they might be willing to speak more with me about that. We might be able to get some more information. So, is that a detour? Is that significantly off the way? Because if we could stop by along the road to wherever we need to go, there could be some information.
The Cree are actually, I mean, there were people in town for the meeting last night.
Yeah.
The actual Cree town is south away.
Okay. It's the opposite direction.
It's the opposite direction of what you're traveling.
All right, I'm not gonna have a party. I'm not gonna go slow the party down so I can clear up some family ties.
Sure.
We move on.
All right, Jimmy.
Let's see what this baby can do.
Yeah. Put the pedal to the metal. I just made that up.
Put the pedal to the leather.
And
Bakelite.
Bakelite, yes.
20 miles an hour.
All right. See those kitty purrs.
The people in the town are gawking a bit because this is actually a fairly new piece of equipment, and it was brought up, and they're actually quite surprised because the military doesn't often lend out their equipment, so they must feel that this is something that's a deal has been cut somewhere to let you guys have this for the day. And just to as you guys are piling into the vehicle, in the back, the very back, there is a wooden box, a large wooden box, and inside there are 6 Lee Enfield rifles with another box with 50 rounds of ammunition.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Not tons, but
what caliber are they?
Enough. 308?
Oh.
I can't remember. It's been ages.
I've got my rifle with me, but I mean, to be honest with you, I've only ever fired it to scare off bears.
It's
like shooting things.
See, now you're making me look it up because I actually used to own 2 of them, and I never fired the damn. Well, I fired one when I was not mine though. Caliber. It's a 303.
303. Okay.
Yeah. So 50 rounds of 303 ammunition, and the boxes contain like the cleaning rods and the swabs.
Right. What was the name of the rifle?
Lee Enfield.
Oh, that's yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. So the military has let you use, but there's also a little note that says, again, please return these.
What kind of guns were there?
Lee Enfield 303 bolt action rifles.
Those are really nice.
And 50 rounds of ammo.
50 rounds of ammo.
Is that for
they're bolt action rifles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just threw that in for you. All right, so you're heading out. You're crossing the bridge, no issues. And where you see 8 versus Mine Road A, it's a very, you all know, well, those of you that have been here a while, very straight stretch of road cut between trees. The area around there is a combination of forest and lowlands, but everything has snow on it right now.
Sure.
So it takes a little while. It's the snow is let up a bit. You can see in the sky that it looks like it's as usual as the weather lately. It's probably going to snow again later on today. It's 11 o'clock in the morning as you cross the bridge, and by noon you get to the rift, and you'll see you've been here before. It's not Grand Canyon by any means. This is a rift that is probably 30 feet drop down into a lower area. And there's actually a roadway to the point of the rift, and then there is a slope that has been constructed through a combination of crushed rock and fallen rock, and you should not have any problems getting down. And as you get down, you're into the lower area.
Is the edge of the rift cliff-like?
Yes.
Okay.
At this point, you're about a 30-foot drop.
So
and is it rock mostly on the edge?
Yes, a rock escarpment.
Are there? Is it mainly deciduous tree? I suppose boreal forest. It's primarily birch, isn't it?
Coniferous.
It's coniferous.
Coniferous.
Yeah. Okay. So pine and yeah.
And so the road goes into the rift, right? It's not like a bridge crossing the rift.
No, you have to go down into the rift.
Okay, got it.
Maybe it's a little windier than it looks here. But.
It's windy because the road actually goes around some outcroppings of rock and some low-lying areas that in the summer would be a little wetter.
All right, Jimmy, please be careful. We're not in any hurry.
How fast are you going through this, Jimmy?
Low gear.
I wish I could be going faster, but Percy's watching over my shoulder, so I'm trying to behave for Percy.
Low gear, lots of traction.
All right. Well, let's do one roll just because of the crookedness of the road.
Oh shit!
That's a bad smile.
Sorry, guys. 90.
We all die.
Jimmy, we're sliding. Jimmy. Feel the thing sliding.
Too much
Get me out of this thing.
Your trailer slides almost perpendicular to the vehicle.
Oh,
and it's undone. So you're going to have to. The roadway is actually raised a bit above the bottom of the rift, so it's actually.
So did he jackknife it then?
Not the vehicle, but when he straightened out the vehicle, the trailer became unhitched. So you're going to have to get out and put it back, hook it back up again.
My baby.
I'll help you out, Doc. Come on, let's go.
Going downhill, keep it in a low gear. I told you.
I wish we had a chain.
Listen.
God, we should have gotten a chain or something so that at least we could attach a chain to it as well, so that when it comes unhitched, it ain't gonna go. Oh my god! How much this balloon cost?
Check your Zeppelin or whatever it is.
All right.
So I'll go out and help Doc re-hitch it.
Yeah, nothing seems broken. It's just the hitch has come undone, and it has slid kind of down the embankments. You have to
kind of push it back up.
Yeah.
This thing would be heavy too, right? The hot air balloon.
It's heavy.
Yeah,
definitely heavy.
Would it be easier to move the bus a little farther down so that we don't have to push it uphill? The package,
It would be easier to do that. Yes.
All right. All right, Jimmy, bring it on down. Try not to.
Ma, do you know how to drive?
Ma, probably not much better than our young Jimmy.
Well,
does.
look, Jimmy, get out and help them move the thing, and I'll take this down the hill.
We just want you to take it down another 10 feet, and we'll be able to.
We're not breaking our backs trying to get this.
Technically speaking, would that be a scooch or a tad?
A tad.
A tad, definitely a tad.
Just a scooch.
We don't want you to scooch. If you scooch anymore,
no scooching in the snow bus.
Clayton, could you do a listen roll?
Yeah, sure.
oh
boy.
09, I hear everything.
it's
Clayton, you hear something animalistic.
Oh boy.
Something echoing down the rift from north.
I immediately get out and I'm like, guys, I hear some noises, animal sounds, so we better get in the vehicle just to be sure. Unless you want to be animal meat.
There's wolves all around these parts. Come on, let's get this.
I don't know, but it sounds.
We found the caribou. We get to go.
Let's say, Clayton, you've had a lot of experience as a trapper and an outdoorsman. You hear this noise. It doesn't sound like any animal that you've heard in the bush before. But you can't be sure because the vehicle was running and people were making noise and there was talking going on. It was just a very strange sound.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, I've hunted before and it does not sound good.
All right, we'll be out of here soon. Let's. What Doc?
Is Clayton gonna like freak out every time we hear a noise?
You'd
he lives by himself out of town. He's an odd duck.
You'd think a hunter would be more relaxed.
Did he bring alcohol with him?
Well, probably.
It's pink, by the way. The balloon.
Pink.
Yeah, kind of pink.
Is that not a red balloon? Red loop balloon?
No.
Red 99 in there?
Pink.
Okay.
Not a non-sociotic creed.
It was made by a French company and they made it pink. I don't know why.
Huh.
Its
name is the Celeste.
Celeste.
Do you know during the Great War, I heard that they painted the underside of the wings pink because it made them more difficult to spot in the sky. Perhaps that's why they've done it.
All right, that's all very interesting, but let's get this damn thing hitched here.
All right.
Get on the way here.
So,
all right.
What are we going to do in terms of... Let's just assume that... Percy, could you make a roll for driving just to get the vehicle in the right position to lock it back up?
90.
Yep.
Excellent.
19,
all right.
19 out of 40.
All right. You get down off the raised road. You back it up. You hook up the hitch again. Nothing seems damaged. Nothing is bent. Vehicle, everything's fine. So you can go right back up on the road and keep going. So who's driving now?
Should I just stay in the driver's seat?
Let Percy drive for a while.
Yeah.
Slow and steady might be better right now.
Just watch that clutch, Percy. It's tricky.
Jimmy, we'll let you run behind.
Keep it on the edge.
So what's everybody doing as Percy is driving?
All right. I'm looking out the windows.
Who's sitting on what side?
Could I just ask, before I turn this thing on, where are we going?
Following the road. We're going up on the other side of the rift.
We're following the road. We're not going down into the rift. We're following the road.
No, we're going.
Because we want to hit that observation deck on the other opposite side.
We're going down into the rift at this point, up the other side, and then we're following.
Okay, so we're staying on the mine road for now.
Right, but we might consider we're once we get up above the out of the rift. Let's check the gas and see if we should go to the
mine to fuel
the mine to refuel it.
Righty-ho.
Okay. I'm sitting on the driver's side in the back, looking out the window.
Okay. So how many of you are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who's assuming Percy's at the front? And,
I'm in the back.
Yes, left
Jimmy,
or right.
would you be in the passenger side?
I was thinking I could watch Percy and hopefully learn from him, but if I'm not,
Okay.
if anybody wants to claim it, I'm fine with moving.
Okay.
Clayton, are
I'll
you
be
on left?
behind Jimmy, so I'll be on the passenger side in the back.
Yeah, I'm in the back too.
I'll stay like in the back.
Left or right, Clayton?
Right.
Elaine?
I'll be on the left then.
Could you do spot hidden in, please?
Sure. I also have natural world. Can I be able to do that? To like, oh, that's nothing on spot.
Who's doing the spot hidden? Just him? Just
I'm doing him for now.
Okay.
Elaine, did you do succeed or no?
That's a fail on spot hidden.
Okay. Dr. Brody, could you do a spot hidden?
Sure. 10. Yes.
Excellent. All right. As you are driving down the mine road, not the mine road, the road that crosses the rift, whatever that's 8, but mine road mine road B, sorry. You're about the midway point. You're enjoying the scenery, looking to the north, seeing the snow falling, light, big fluffy flakes. Sun is actually where it belongs. To the north, up the rift, in an area where there are large boulders. Very briefly, you see movement.
Oh boy.
And it is not movement of wolves. It is movement of human-shaped object. It's a long ways away. Like, this is a long ways away. It's like you see someone move from behind one rock to another, and then someone else move again from another direction behind that same rock.
Okay, so like now, how far away?
We're talking. Well, sorry, I'm Canadian. Half a kilometer. We're talking.
I know exactly how far that is.
You would. Let's say it's like 1,500 feet away. Like it's a distance, but you're able to make out the shape.
But I can see, a little person moving there.
Yeah.
I'm like, Percy, hold up. And I'm like, I think we're not alone. I think I saw some other people.
You see something, Doc?
I'm looking. If anybody on this side of the bus, take a look out there and see.
See? I'm not hallucinating here.
You see the two big rocks over there? The ones on the right hand side of the rift.
I was kind of like leaning over you, like pushing you out of the way, trying to see like through the little portal hole. Like, what do you see?
Okay, just watch. I don't know if it'll happen again, but I swear I saw a couple of people walking there.
What are people doing down here?
I'm sure it was people. It wasn't the legendary Sam Squamch.
No. It's not the Sam Squamch. No, I'm pretty sure it's people. It could be miners. It could be Cree. It could be.
What are they doing down here in the rift?
Maybe they're looking for the. But I swear I saw them right down there near those big boulders. Do I see anything else?
Well, Ma, can you do a spot hidden?
Yeah, I just have base.
You're
I'm more of a listener. Mom probably needs glasses, but
I've got my binoculars with me. Can I?
Oh, good.
They're in my rucksack down in the.
Oh, 9. She actually passes. She's like, hey! I see something too. Percy, stop the damn vehicle. Let's get out of here. See what's going on.
I'm not getting out. I could, but
it might be
my
Eddie
binoculars
Smith,
out of my rucksack and see if you can have a better look at it.
It might very well be Eddie Smith or Chet Farnsworth, the people who are supposed to be at the base we're going to, base B.
Well, Ma, you do see a slight movement. You don't see people moving from rock to rock. You can see the rocks in the distance. You can see the field of boulders because the rift is strewn with a combination of fields of chunks, piles of rocks, strewn with rocks low to the ground, some marshy areas. It's a combination of things over time that have built up.
The suspense is killing us.
Rocks, and then not peering over the edge of the rocks, like someone poked their head up and looked and then vanished again. It's a long ways away. That's the best you can.
They could be up to hunters, so I would shoot off a flare to let them know that we're friendly, that we're here, I guess.
Well, I don't think they're going to shoot us. We're in a freaking bus.
Can't be too careful.
I think if we let off a flare though, there's a chance that that's going to lead to people from the town or the
thinking we're in trouble,
thinking we're in danger of coming out.
Well, maybe for now we just ignore it, but
I don't know. I mean, they're bothering no one.
Like I said, it could be our missing people.
It's probably just a couple of hunters. I mean,
it's probably
there's no caribou coming down.
They'd be headed towards us if they needed help. They can hear this damn thing for miles.
It's probably just locals out hunting, trying to find some meat.
Yeah, hang on. Like Ma said, this thing makes quite a lot of yuckus, so I don't imagine there's much wildlife around us due to all the noise. So what could they be hunting?
Well, they didn't plan on us being here.
They would have hit us like a while before we came, so they would know we were coming.
I think that's probably just locals out hunting, trying to find some food for the winter.
Yeah, I don't know. Keep an eye on them, but let's get this hunk of junk moving.
If you say so.
And they're to the right of us, are they?
Left.
To the left.
As you're traveling forward, up, they're to the left, to the north.
So they're on the north side.
Yes. So are we driving on?
Yeah, let's go on.
Yeah, I mean, well, if we're going up to the, let me look at my map.
You're right where the 9 is approximately on the road B that goes through the rift.
So are we going up to viewing station B because A is just an empty platform, isn't it? So we're going up to B. So if they're to the north of us, the road starts going northeasterly. So really, as we're going up that road, we'd be able, hopefully, to get, if there's anyone up there, we'd probably be able to get a better view of them.
Right.
As we're going up there anyway. So
yes,
before I start, I'm just going to reach behind me and in my knapsack and take out my binoculars and I'll hand them across to Dr. Brody.
All right.
He's behind you.
Yes, and just look, just keep an eye. Use these. Keep an eye out. Don't scratch them.
Oh, of course not. I'm used to using these expensive technical items.
Hey, Sean, on this side of the rift, is it the same basic, the drop-in elevation?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Approximately. I mean, it's like, tipped, but the distance is about the same. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So you are moving on. You are at the far side of the rift now. You haven't seen it. There's nothing else to see There's nothing else to see yet.
Okay.
You get to the edge of the rift, and there's again another ramp that has been constructed by the mining people, most likely, as well as others over time. And you're able to get up the other side of the rift. I won't make you roll for this one. You get up to the other side, and the roadway continues on, and there's actually a painted sign that says mine, like pointing towards the mine. Now, also to the east and west, unmarked, are roadways that are cut through the forest as well. I mean, the forest doesn't go right up to the edge of the rift, but there are roads that go south and north along the edge of the rift.
Okay. Shall we stop here and check the gas?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'll have a look at the gauge, if there is one.
You could.
We didn't get that, Sean.
You're not quite at half a tank yet. You're still above half a tank.
Well, there's also a cache at B too, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's push on to the viewing station, and then we can top the gas up there.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Yeah.
GM, can we stay at the mine if we need to, like overnight, or because by the time we get there, come back? I mean, unless we're gonna, hang out in the wilderness.
There is
camp out.
Yeah, there's sort of an unwritten rule in the north at this time of time that it still exists, that people help one another, and the mine is a well-known benefactor of the town, and vice versa. So yes, there are barracks there because people don't want to be traveling back and forth to the town to the mine. So when someone's on a 5-day shift for 12 hours a day, they stay. So there's plenty of places to stay, and the mine knows of you and knows what you're doing. I think you can safely assume you can stay there if you need to.
Okay. Just want to know. All right, then. Yeah, Maz. Yeah, push on. Let's get up there and see if we can find out what happened to these folks.
Yeah.
You do have, just so you know, you do have a couple of jerry cans full of gas as well.
Right.
Okay.
I'm kind of hoping too that there may be an unmarked road going from the mine to Outpost B as well. I don't know. It might just be a trail.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. This isn't the same kind of construction of the road. Instead of being a crushed rock road like you drove on through 9 and 8, this is actually what I mentioned, a corduroy road, where it's laid logs that are side by side with sand poured over top of them. So it's a bumpier ride. It's definitely it's smoother because of the snowpack you've got on top. It's still like all the way. It's a little bit irritating. Could you make one driving roll then, please, Percy?
38, which is it's a pass.
That's a pass. Excellent. Yeah. So you have a few shimmies, a few side to sides. There's a few places where the logs are a bit rotted. They should be replaced, and that's something that the people who travel the roads do in the spring, anyways. But you continue along the rift. There's no significant driving issues. You don't see anything out of the ordinary, but let's do one spot hidden. Whoever's on the left-hand side of the vehicle is Dr. Brody.
Yeah, I was going to say I've got the binoculars, and I'm looking to see if I can see closer.
I just got my L5s.
Might be down there.
If you could both do a spot
Give it
hidden.
a look. The binoculars.
That's nothing on me. The 65.
Dr. Brody.
I got a 44, which is a pass by 1 point.
Your binoculars add to that as well, though. So, all right. Well, you don't see the same as you saw as was seen before. You don't see physical bodies moving, but you do see footprints in the snow. You see a trail, like people have been. There has been movement in the snow.
Somebody's been
and
down
not all
there,
over the
folks.
place. Somebody's been walking in the snow.
Yeah, somebody's there. There's definitely a trail of somebody going up and down there. Does it look like maybe just, well, I'm guessing more than one person.
More than one person, yes. More than one person has been walking.
I don't see anybody, though.
No.
No. I scan the opposite side of the rift as well to see if I can see anything through the binoculars, like somebody climbing up the other side, or
no. I won't even make you roll. You don't see anything.
All right.
So I could have made you roll to make you think there was someone there, but there's not. So you're continuing on the drive. You're scanning out the windows. I would assume the people on the right-hand side of the vehicle are looking into the forested areas.
Right.
Nothing out of the ordinary. It is winter time. Winter's upon us, and there's not as much wildlife as you might believe there is in the winter. Anybody who watches Mountain Men knows that. So you're driving along, and as in the distance, you are now approaching, which is Hut B, or what do we call it? Viewing Station B. As you get closer, you see it is definitely a raised platform with a wooden barricade around the outside so someone can lean against it and look with binoculars. There is a small hut on the platform, stand in it. It's peaked roof and all that. There is also another area behind it, which is a shed of sorts, storage shed.
How tall is the platform?
The platform is probably about 5 or 6 feet up above the edge of the rift.
Okay.
Overlooking, and the platform itself reaches out over the edge of the rift by a few feet, so it's out that way, so they can actually go to the edge and look down into the rift or up in north and south.
Perfect observation point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we're here, folks.
Yeah.
I will make sure everything is still secure if you guys want to go ahead and see if Mr. Smith, Mr. Eddie Smith, is here somewhere. I'll join you in a few moments.
Yes, I suppose we better introduce ourselves before helping ourselves to the cache. Seems
all right.
polite, so, so if we obviously, park it in the most convenient spot for leaving again.
Mm-hmm. There is a bit of a turnaround, like a cleared area that's circular. And then the road continues on north as well.
Okay.
Right.
Do we see any tracks in the snow?
No. The snow is fairly new. It was snowing last night, as you know. So any tracks you would have seen have been covered by about 3 inches of snow.
Okay, so it's deep.
However,
it's not too deep to walk through, is it?
No,
we don't
no.
need to get our snowshoes out yet.
No, you've had a lot of snow fall and snow melt, so you've got a nice pack of snow that allows you to use this vehicle, but not enough to go up past your, mid calf kind of thing. Percy, Clayton.
Yeah.
Can you? Why don't you roll a spot hidden? Unless you have a tracking skill. You have a tracking skill of some sort?
Yeah, but I think spot hidden is better.
Spot hidden. Okay, go for spot hidden.
There. Actually, okay. No.
How close were you?
Not even close.
Okay. All right. Ma, do you not also have a tracking skill?
I don't. I have navigate. That's the closest thing I have.
I have tracking skill.
I can do my base spot hidden.
I have tracking skills.
I've got
whoever has it. Please make a roll.
Come on, 55. I pass.
No, I just missed it.
I just missed it too, but I'm busy doing my stuff anyway.
Yeah, you've got other things to read. All right, Elaine, you do note not necessarily that you can see and make out specific tracks, but from the indentation, from the thickness of the snow, you can see there was a lot of movement around the hut itself as well as the shed, where the snow is not necessarily, you can't make out individual tracks, but you can make out that it's packed down in some areas. And there's one large indentation where the snow is sort of like a scoop in the snow that's now filled with snow. And then that seems to go off up the roadway to the area where it's packed more firmly. You can't track it any further.
Okay, I point this out to Pity. Yeah, there's been activity here, so something happened.
And this would have been recent since it's been snowing.
You've had a lot of snow melt and snowfall, so it's hard to tell how recent it would be.
Oh, okay.
Eddie.
I'm going to go up to the hut and hello them.
Okay.
Hello.
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 You guys are yelling for Eddie?
Yeah.
No response to your hello.
Oh, I'll open the door and stick my head in. Hello, is there anyone about?
You look inside, and instantly you see that there has been signs of a struggle. There is a chair is knocked over, of course, the usual. There is a small file drawer that has 3 drawers. The drawers are pulled out. Papers are all over the place. There is a desk of sorts where someone would sit and be able to look out and see outwards, out towards the rift itself, but you'd have to go out in the actual wooden part around it to see down in. But the chairs over, the papers are all over the place. There's a coffee cup knocked over. There's a coffee pot that is on the floor. The ground is stained with spilled coffee. And the radio, there's actually a military grade radio into the far side, and the radio itself has been smashed. The tube's broken, wires pulled out, just totally smashed.
Well, this makes no sense at all. Why would someone come and smash up a lookout that's for watching a caribou migration that hasn't turned up?
Is the stove burned out? There's nothing, no embers.
Stove cold.
It would have been, yeah, okay. We haven't heard from them in a while, so I'm assuming.
And there's no sign of, like, I don't know, clothing, like toy bits of pieces or anything from, what's his name, Jimmy? No, not Jimmy, the dude who was here. Eddie.
No signs of him at all, no.
When did they last say they had contact with Eddie?
I think that's a week ago.
A week ago.
Mm-hmm.
Contact, that's important. Is there like a radio here that we could like message that so that they know we checked it out?
Radio smashed.
Who's inside the hut right now?
Do we have a radio?
I'm still outside,
I'm outside too.
but I'm walking towards the hut.
Likewise, yeah.
Percy, could you do a spot hidden?
93. No, I'm preoccupied. I'm
You
going back
unfind
out.
thing.
I'm going back out to the cache.
You've decided to go wandering off and count birds or something.
Oh yes, I'm going to go and see if I can find that gasoline and top up the tank. Well, we've got the chance.
Are there any signs of blood?
No. No signs. You do note that the door itself, however, it's not off its hinges, but it has been somewhat damaged in the area of the handle.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any sign of any disturbance in the storage shed where all the gasoline and stuff is?
No, the storage shed is perfectly untouched. Fuel. There's like 5 jerry cans full of fuel and miscellaneous bits and pieces to like pieces for the radio, just spare papers.
I see Percy as I'm going up onto the platform, and I'm like, Percy, you need any help? What's up?
No, I'm gonna fill up the tank. You should go and have a look in there though. It looks like there's been a scuffle or something. It doesn't look like he's just wandered off.
Uh-oh. All right, I'll go look.
It looks almost like there's been a fight or something.
So I got there to look as well. Holy crap.
I'll go into.
I'll head in as well. I'll just be like, damn.
Yeah, place is trashed.
Oh, shit.
If I look at the radio, can I tell, like, it wasn't just knocked off the edge, it was actually smashed?
The tubes are smashed, some wires pulled out. It's like someone bashed it with their fist or something.
Okay.
What in the hell?
Jimmy, can you do a spot hidden?
Sure.
I want to go over and look at whatever the papers are on the desk.
24,
Okay.
pass.
That's a pass.
Yep.
You see on the inside the radio where the outside of the radio where something would have struck it, you see a little bit of blood, like a small bit, like somebody cut themselves, like they used their hand to smash it. perhaps, or they cut themselves while they were hitting it. And you see some fur. You don't know. It's just like it's smeared blood with some fur stuck to the blood.
Okay.
Could I roll the natural? I don't know if it's natural history, natural world to like identify it.
Oh, just sec, Quinn. Sorry, Dr. Brody, you were saying something.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
I'm looking at whatever the papers are scattered around his desk. If he was writing something or working on something, or if he left a message for us, because he was being attacked.
Temperature that the people sitting in this hut all day, they were taking notes about the weather conditions, the animals they saw, how many birds they saw by date, that kind of thing. And if you look through the information, you'll see that it's dated. It's all over the place. I mean, there's sheets for the last couple weeks and previous months as well. If you filter through the information, you'll see that again, a week previous was the last date you actually see.
I see. So nothing. Okay.
I'll call over Elaine and Clayton.
Weapons?
No weapons. Sorry, Elaine, what were you saying? Sorry, before.
Before you mentioned there's a bit of fey.
Yes.
Can I roll the natural world to like see if I can identify that?
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna maybe.
No, you guys should be able to.
I'm gonna 75, and I make it with 55.
How much was your score? Your value? Sorry.
I rolled and I rolled 55.
Okay. Clayton, can you do the same thing and tell me how close you got it?
On natural history or what?
Just natural history or something that you could use in the same purpose. Just tell me what it is.
Okay. Give me a second here.
Once I've filled up, I'll put the jerry can back in the shed.
Okay, excellent.
And close it up securely.
Great.
And then start making my way back over to the shack.
Ma's kind of hanging around outside. She overheard something about a scuffle, so she's kind of keeping an eye out on things.
No, I have
running by the way, or no?
I'm sorry.
Did you leave the vehicle running or no?
No, I switched it off when I
filled it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I passed.
I'm far too safety conscious to risk that.
How close did you pass there, Clayton?
I hit it right on. I passed it by 4.
Okay. Clayton, you and Elaine both looking at this fur and the blood. You're like looking at it and you go, this is what the heck? And you look very closely. It's caribou fur.
It is. I'm going to be like, we found it.
You can tell the striations in the fur. You hold it up to the light. You feel the thickness of it, length of it. It's caribou fur.
Okay.
Caribou fur. May I examine the caribou fur?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. It is my specialty. Oh shit! I should not brag.
This looks like tabby cat to me. You people don't know what you're talking about. Domestic Catus domesticus. I know it's not. Felinus domesticus.
Well,
right. That's
I was hoping to be able to identify.
I'm gonna walk back into the shack. I've filled up the vehicle. Have you found anything?
You're walking up to the doorway. It's not actually that big to have like.
Oh right. Okay. I'll just stick my head in, and I've filled up the snow cat. Have you found anything interesting in there?
Well, apparently he was attacked by a caribou. We have found caribou fur and blood on. Well,
we don't know for blood. We know for fit.
You can taste it.
Well,
it's not that big of an.
Haven't got that far yet.
Jimmy found it in the smashed radio. seems very, very odd.
Mm-hmm.
While you're still outside?
Yeah.
You think that they smashed the radio with a bit of caribou?
Wouldn't there be caribou all over the place then?
That's true. That's true. If the caribou attacked, then it would be much more chaotic. It'd be like
Well, what if
They
the person
wouldn't have shut. I had to open the door to get in. The caribou wouldn't have shut the door behind them, would they?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's perhaps it's likely that whoever smashed the radio had a bit of caribou on them. Maybe they had slaughtered a caribou.
The people around here use caribou for all sorts of reasons.
Right.
I'd probably just wearing caribou fur.
Ma, you've actually used a caribou leg as a club before, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Or something.
Still, it would have,
Frozen.
Using it as a club, it would have splattered all over the place.
Frozen.
And they might have had just a nice pair of caribou mittens on.
We should have turned outside. I know it's recently snowed, but maybe there's some evidence that they slaughtered a caribou recently.
Ma, would you make that listen roll, please?
Sure. My dice stream isn't working, so you'll just have to believe me. I actually passed 77 out of 80. So
wow.
You can, because there's so much talking going on in the shed or the hut, and because
it's otherwise quiet, so
it's otherwise quiet, but there's still a little bit of commotion nearby. You sort of hear something off towards the rift, and you can't really place it. Could you roll your natural world then, just for the heck of it?
I just had base, but I will try. No.
It's just like Clayton described. It's an animal sound, but nothing you can recognize. So it's just some strange sound.
Given that I'm standing... Sorry,
I was just going to say, I'm going to walk kind of like, I guess, to the overhang of the rift. So, kind of headed towards the rift and, I'm just kind of squinting and sort of looking out and just kind of muttering to myself, that's weird.
Mm-hmm. On like the wooden overhang, like the...
No, I'm not going to go up on the actual hut, but just kind of like to the actual like cliff side, I guess.
Right.
Just sort of look out, and
it's kind of trepidation or hazardous. I mean, there's snow, there's rocks. You don't really know where the edge is, but let's just assume you're being really careful. You go there, you squint, you listen. You don't hear anything else right now.
All right, I'm gonna kind of bundle up and sort of head back towards the car and just say that was really weird.
Percy, what were you saying? Sorry.
I was just wondering if I'm standing outside the door. I assume I've seen her doing this.
You do see you're very close to the commotion in the hut and a lot of the talking, and you've got the hut directly in front of you, so you're sort of shielded from listening to or.
Well, I'll walk over to her and have you seen something? Is there something down there?
Heard something weird. I don't know. Gave me a chill. I don't know. I can't describe it. Something animal. I don't know.
Not wolves. No one said they've seen.
No. It ain't no wolves. I don't know what the hell that was though. It's kind of freaking me out though. Do you guys got anything else up there? I think maybe we should get out of here.
It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, by the way.
I'm just going to go up to the edge of the lookout and just have a look up and down the rift and see if I can see anything.
All right. Well, it's a valley, rock escarpments. The wind is picking up a little bit, starting to get not dark, but I mean the sun is heading towards, the horizon. Not very low yet. There's wind blowing down the rift because it's a lower area, swirling snows, but nothing else, nothing out of the ordinary.
Can Can I ask real quick? Was our intent that we were staying out and camping on this whole trip, or were we supposed to? Or were we just going out for one night?
You guys decide.
Well, we brought all of our stuff with us. We were intending on camping.
That's true.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to...
camping, but if we've got the option of staying the night up at the mining barracks, I'd rather be up there, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fine for tonight, but it's not going to help us tomorrow if we're going to Camp C. That's farther up the rift. But we can do that tonight.
Well, at least that way we'll be warm. Set out first thing in the morning.
It'll give us a chance to talk to Bear Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
No, if we're staying with the miners, the one thing we're assured of is an early morning alarm call. So.
Yeah.
Ma, did you see any place out there where they might have slaughtered a caribou?
Let me do a spot hidden. I do pass that. Do I see anything? I got a 5 out of 25.
Sorry, what were you looking?
See if there was like a slaughtering ground.
Place where they slaughtered a caribou recently.
Yeah.
There's a lot of snowfall. You don't necessarily see anything, though.
Okay.
I mean, someone could have done something a week ago or a few days ago, and there's been.
Nah, I don't see anything out here, Doc. Everything looks pretty freshly covered up.
What about the place where Mr. Smith would have slept? Is his bed all ruined up? And
there's a cot in this hut. It's a fold-up cot, so it's against the wall. There's this shelving on the wall that has blankets, and like it looks like apart from the disastrous mess that's occurred, he's a pretty tidy guy, or he was, because everything's put away where it belongs: blankets, pillows, everything.
Does it seem like somebody was looking for something, or that they were simply attacking? And can I tell?
I would say it looks like.
Does this stuff look like it was gone through?
The drawers were definitely open to the filing cabinets.
So obviously somebody was looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
If the bed's folded, then we could assume that this happened during the day.
We can also think that they didn't murder him and leave his body here either.
Mm-hmm.
They probably tied him up and took him with them.
Speaking of which, Sean, when we first got here, you described something about the snow as being like scooped out.
Yes.
Could I clear some of the snow off, the upper snow, and see if I could see what was underneath?
Sure, absolutely. You can use your hands or tools or whatever. The light, fluffy snow, the recently fallen snow, you can move aside, and you can see. Well, want to do an idea roll? Does that make sense?
I think I know what it might be.
I'll tell you what my intent is that I'm thinking if there was...
Yeah, what's your question?
More like either Eddie was drug out into the snow and he was bleeding at the time and they dragged his body, or they slaughtered the caribou and then the fresh snow covered all the blood. So I'm trying to see if there's either blood or fire or...
And I'm simply thinking that there was a sled or something there that there was no snowfall underneath it until they moved it, at which point there's just a little snowfall now.
Yeah. I would say that's thinking about all the possibilities. It looks like it's the shape of a sled of sorts. There are actual marks where runners were.
So
snow fell on top of that and filled in the void, but not completely. And that's why you can see the indentation. So something was there and is now missing.
But they may have put him, Eddie, or the caribou on the sled and took it off. And
I think I like the idea of they put the caribou on the sled.
Is there an indication of the direction that they might have gone in?
Well, the roadway heads north and south. That's really this looks like something that was sitting there throughout the the melt during the day and the refreezing at night, and something is no longer there. Okay. And the snow filled in the void in the last week or so.
Okay.
Not completely though.
That better not be the end of the story.
No, not at all. So could you do Dr. Brody, could you do a spot hidden?
Sure.
There's a lot of spot hiddens. Sorry. 99. No.
98. Apparently, I'm staring at the snow.
All right.
Hey, can I do a spot hidden?
Are you all right? Well, you look like you might have just gone snow blind.
The snow blew in your eyes when you were looking around.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Clayton? You're nearby. You see him looking at this indentation. You were wondering about it as well. Go ahead, do a spot hidden. I'll let you do it.
That may be close. Either I pass.
Dice.
Here.
Oh, you rolled. That 50 is your roll?
Yeah, that's my roll. No.
Okay. You see much the same indentation in the snow. Something was there and it's not there anymore. That's all you got. But, Elaine, could you make... Oh, not Elaine, sorry. Where the heck's Troy? Troy, your name is gone again. Ma,
I know.
It's all right.
My stream's being
I'm going to say, Ma, you're kind of wandering around.
Yeah, I'm.
Everybody else is
perturbed, you know. So
you're nervous. You're paranoid. Make another listen roll.
Listen, okay. I passed that. She's right on it. 45 out of 80. So
you hear that noise.
She's listening out for every little thing. Okay.
You hear that noise again?
She goes back.
And then another.
And another.
Different direction.
Oh, okay. Different direction. Is it closer?
No. It's like up the rift,
still
down the rift, across the rift. You hear it's like a calling back and forth between three different.
Given that I'm still standing on the platform, do I hear anything?
Yes, you do. You do as well. But you haven't heard it, so it's new to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like anything I'm familiar with. I can't place it zoologically or.
What do you have for a zoological reference stat?
My zoology is 70.
Okay, if you could roll that, please.
Okay. Do I hear it?
Where are you again?
I'm right by where the indentation is.
Yeah, you're bent down at the indentation. You hear something.
62.
Okay. 62?
Yes.
You can place it as somewhat like caribou.
I've got an 80
but not
in biology.
It just sounds off.
Ma's like, guys, we got to get out of here. I keep hearing this weird stuff. Let's start packing up here. I'm getting the creeps.
When you say something like caribou, could that imply possibly that it's human beings attempting to imitate caribou?
Possibly. Or ill caribou. You're not entirely sure. You haven't heard. I think that's it. I think we are at
8 o'clock.
No, yeah.
Oh,
I think it's getting dark. We should probably head off.
It is going to be dark before you get back.
Yeah.
We need to start moving out.
So you'll have to think about what you're doing.
All right. So shall we call it there then?
Yes.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our players included Corey Heisted, Quinn Skudalarski, Mick Swan, Troy Will Dreyer, Jeff Wilkins, and myself, with Sean Little as the keeper of the secrets. Our games are played using traditional tabletop methods with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. Our musical intro, Sea of Doom, was written by Doug Maxwell and is provided free to use by YouTube Audio. We're now providing audio-only versions of our shows for you to listen to while driving or working out. They're free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. We've created a Patreon account where you can help us with the cost of the show production and website maintenance. We have it set so that you can contribute a small amount per episode and set a cap so that you don't overdo it. We did receive a new patron today, and we would like to thank Akos Groger for his generous pledge. Thanks, Akos.
Thanks, Akos.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Feel free to send us comments on the show. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy our broadcast, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for updates on our latest shows. You'll find links to everything I mentioned in the description below. This is Tom Rayleigh, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.